still be there showing everything. If I can make some product first. Woo! That's really easy to control.
Come with me if you want to live. Damn, it feels good to be a gangster. Hey, it's Mike with Aegis Defense. Welcome back. And today, going through historical firearms with our guest that we went through last time with the Hakim rifle. That's going to be Austin with 2FYC Tactical down in New Prague, Minnesota. We're bringing him back today. Come on in, Austin. And we're going to be covering quite the neat little package, a Polish machine pistol, the PM63. Is that correct? Did I get that right? Correct. Right on. So here it is right here, our PM63, and chambered in 9mm Makarov. And to go over that and how this thing works, we have Austin back with us. Austin, how you doing, man?
Doing good, man. How
Fantastic. Good, good. So, yeah, why don't you go through this with us and you know, how this thing functions and kind of the history of it.
Sure. So these were designed in Poland from around the late 1950s is when they were designed. They were in production from 1967 to 1977, serving alongside the Polish military. To be honest with you, they didn't really find a true home. It turns out not a lot of people actually wanted a machine pistol. It was like, well,
I can give it a home.
Yeah,
I can.
So this is what we would call a post-sample, post-86 for all you out there, non-transferable machine pistol. It is fully automatic. Unlike, say, a modern M16 or even an AK, it's an open bolt design. So when the slide moves forward, that fires the cartridge because it's a fixed firing pin reciprocating the slide back, and it will go until the magazine is empty. What is kind of unique about this particular gun is that when it was designed, the original designer passed away in mid-design. So it's actually kind of a mixture of people who came up with this, which does leave it with some just oddities. One of the oddities would be the extended barrel flute, if you want to call it this, which has two purposes. One makes some sense, one I don't recommend. First is to protect you from your hand going up above the barrel when it's firing. The other was, the idea was you could just push down on it to rack the pistol and fire, but obviously when you do that, you're putting the barrel into the ground, which could theoretically clog it. Not highly recommended, but believe it or not, they actually did teach that. It's kind of unusual. The other very interesting thing about this is the trigger system. It is what we call a progressive trigger. So this does not have a selector switch on it. It has a safety, but it does not have a way to make it semi-auto by a switch. So the trigger does that. So when you pull it back to there, that is semi-auto. If you pull it all the way back, that's full auto. So you have to know where the trigger is to make it semi or full.
You have to know how to ride that trigger to actually get this to do what you want it to do. Exactly. Okay, so less science, more art form on that.
It does feature a very typical European, especially of the time, magazine release where it's on the bottom of the magazine well, as opposed to a button release that we here in the United States are very familiar with. The other cool thing about this is it does come with a built-in stock, even though it's a bit flimsy, and a foregrip. This all folds up. So there's a button right here that you push to collapse the foregrip. The stock rotates up like so. You push the catch right here on the bottom, and it slides all the way in, and you can kind of see the cutout for the actual buttstock action of it. And then it clicks, if I can get it to click, just like that, and there you go. You got your semi-compact machine pistol. Chambered in the 9x18 Makarov round, which was the Russian preferred sidearm round of the era. That'll actually technically still to this day, they still use that round. But it's actually quite controllable. So when we take it out to shoot it, you'll see how smooth this actually
I'm very excited for that.
And the trigger, believe it or not, is actually fairly easy to make it go semi-auto. It seems kind of artish. You do it a couple times, like, okay, I see where the wall is. I just need to be right there.
Got it, okay.
If you spent any kind of time on this, you'd be able to do it without much issue. But again, kind of a short production period, only 10 years. They didn't make that many of them. They only made like 20,000 or something like that because no one really wanted it. Truthfully, it's like it was one of those things like, well, why don't I just go get a machine gun? Like, why would I do this?
Yeah,
it's really too big, especially when you have the extended 25-round magazine in it to be considered a handgun to carry. But it's also not quite big enough to fit a submachine gun roll. So you run into that. Well, it's kind of a master of none of these things. Also, when the slide reciprocates, it comes back awfully far, which means you have to be very careful how far your face is forward. Otherwise, this will nick you.
Yeah, I was noticing that as, if especially operating from that bolt open position, man, that thing's going to be hammering right towards your face. So
of course,
it really is just kind of a product of the Cold War, man. Just a Cold War bastard.
Yeah, this would have been behind the Iron Curtain. So it's kind of cool to get to hold this and then get to shoot these things. So.
And on that note, let's actually go shoot the damn thing. All right, we have the Polish P63, and let's put this through a few paces. Now, I did get to fire a few rounds earlier before we came out here, and what Austin was mentioning as we're firing this baby, riding that sweet spot to find the semi-automatic was a little bit goofy. There really is kind of a feel for it. So I was getting more to 2 to 3 round bursts with that, but the full auto, super, super fun to shoot. So let's throw a few more downrange.
What?
If you have your face too far forward on that stock, it's going to give you a gentle little kiss. It's going to give you a sweet little mooch.
God, it is it's miserable.
This is awful outside.
I don't know how you're wearing so few.
He's coming! Super fun. Super, super fun.
Why?
Who's next?
You would very quickly go empty. It's just not a real world application really for it.
Okay, and you can kind of hear it cycling.
That's it. It's ready.
Mag Dumpy says,
I knew I was missing one.
Oh, that's the 15 rounder too. What'd you think?
That felt nice. I didn't feel it at all.
Reload the mags real quick.
Yeah.
I only got 2 mags for it. Is all I got. So sorry.
Yeah, it's super easy to go through rounds doing the shots.
Far back this was gonna be an issue, but where my face wants to sit, it's more like right here. So it doesn't go back too far. But yeah, if you're hugging it too much, you're gonna get a nice little punch in the face.
A sweet, gentle kiss.
A sweet little, just a little mwah. So, this is actually really cool. I haven't gotten to shoot a full auto in a while, but this is pretty nifty. It's pretty nifty. I like it.
Yeah, that's totally dope.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. It would be really cool to...
Those Cold War era Polish certainly know how to partly complete a machine pistol and then hand it off to another manufacturer to then make more parts of it and then hand it off to somebody else and make more parts of it.
It's kind of just doing whatever it wants.
It is the jigsaw puzzle of machine pistols.
It's the jigsaw puzzle of the Soviet bloc countries.
Totally.
I'll tell them.
I mean, still
You're supposed to make it today.
if I could make some product first.
Woo! That's really easy to control. That's really easy. Once you get a hang for it,
Get to know her. That's it. It's it. Bolt open. Bolt open.
For the most part.
that ain't a Glock in my pants.
Wow, that's 25 rounds. That's so fast. 25 rounds. That was amazing. That went so fast. 25 rounds, but almost no recoil.
Wow. Did you feel gangster?
I felt gangster.
Did you feel gangster?
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
I just wanted to spray and pray. That feels good though, especially like there's not a whole lot of recoil. I could shoot this thing all day and not get sore or tired. Or
Okay,
anything.
so the Polish P63. What are you guys' thoughts on that thing?
Oh gosh, that thing was crazy. So very easy to control the recoil again because we're shooting a 9mm Makarov. So
Yeah.
just like a 9mm, it's very similar. That's what Austin was telling me. The recoil impulse should be about the same. But that little pistol short-barreled rifle, whatever you want to call it. It is very easy to control and fun to shoot.
Now, one of the things I thought was pretty goofy was Austin really talked about how you could fire it on semi-automatic. There was no semi-automatic selector, no selector switch. So you had to ride the trigger to actually get it to engage in semi-automatic. And I had trouble finding that sweet spot. Anybody else try it, or is it just me?
I'm handed a full auto, and I'm just...
It's hard not to do that. To just straight up go full auto. But riding that sweet spot, I ended up with just getting like 2 to 3 round bursts out of that.
To be honest, though, if you were in a situation where you would need a semi-auto, I would panic personally. Because
you just end up mag dumping.
At that point, I would just burst fire it anyway.
Because it's so easy to.
It's so easy to burst fire. You have to really concentrate on single fire, which it's not realistic.
I can see that.
Yeah, there's barely any recoil. And I shot it from the shoulder, and then I also shot it from the hip, and I just kind of just sprayed and prayed, which is
the old 80s Hollywood special.
Always so much fun to do.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, honestly, it was nice. It was compact. It had that built-in foregrip, so I'm like, that was pretty nice, but... Yeah. It had no recoil.
The built-in foregrip had me a little worried at points, though, too, because as you're grabbing that, I'm like, man, it'd be super easy to slip your hand just up a little bit and decide to trim your fingers a little too short.
Yeah, it's right there. That foregrip is right there. Mm-hmm.
Which then led to like one of that goofy design feature where they had that flute at the end of the barrel, like, oh, that'll help protect your hand. However, it fires from bolt open, so when you initially put in a mag, the bolt's to the rear, so it's not there to actually protect your hand.
Yeah.
So, a little goofy. Any other thoughts, guys?
No,
all right.
A lot of fun. Yeah.
Well, this has been Jaden, James, Mike, and Hunter with Aegis Defense Solutions. Thanks for sticking around today. God bless and good night. Remember, stay prepared, not scared.